to another brand new episode here on FS25 and the Farmers Market. So as you can see, the daily routine is taking place here. We are still fetching and carrying pallets all over the map, but that's good because that means we're making produce. If we're making produce, that means we've got stuff to sell. If we've got stuff to sell, that means we're very rich. If we're very anyway, you know, you get the idea. So, yeah, we are currently just as I say. Oh, now the trains come. Right. I say I wouldn't do this in real life, but the only reason I do it on farm sim is I know there's only one train, and it's only ever going to go that way unless I call it, in which case it's going to go backwards. So I know I'm okay to do that. I wouldn't do that in real life though. I don't know if I ever told you the story. So many years ago, and this is why I learnt to A, pay attention, and B, you know, just don't worry about what everybody else is thinking. Do your own thing. It was a valuable lesson in life, and thankfully, you know, nothing happened, no one hurt, nothing damaged. You know, so you know, as I always say, all is well that ends well. And so essentially, what happened was we were in Boston, myself and my ex, and I think I'm right. I think it was during COVID, and we were, so as we could have a ride out, we were going to Boston to do the shopping, right? Only she was allowed in, right, into the supermarket. So she, you know, she would go into the supermarket. Anyway, we was on the way home from Boston, and we were coming out of Asda. For those I don't know Boston that well, so I don't know road names and different places like that. But for those of you that know Boston fairly well, so I was coming out of Boston and I was heading towards Spalding. I think it's John Adams's Way, I think they call that. Anyway, I'm coming out of Spalding, and funnily enough, I'm coming out of Boston, so I'm coming out of Asda, out of the car park, get round onto the big road to go up to the roundabout, turn right to head towards Spalding. As I get out to that big road, I beat a car out, which was fine because it wasn't like a close thing or anything. But you know, I came out and had to wait at the train crossing for a train, and wait at the train crossing, no problem. Train goes by, and then you know, yeah, go on then, I'll take them back. And, you know, no problem. Anyway, goes over the crossing, all the way down the road, get to the big roundabout, turn right, and then when you get sort of so far down that road, you sort of meet the next train crossing on the same line. So it's further up, right? Big queue of traffic, right? And we're sort of going along, big queue of traffic. And I get to the train line, right? And this is how lack of self-confidence and belief I am, right? I knew the right thing to do, but I didn't want to upset no one, and I didn't want to annoy anyone, and I didn't want any sort of road rage or anything like that, right? So I knew the right thing to do, but because I didn't want to upset anyone, I was quite willing to kill myself and my family, apparently. So I see the train line, and I was thinking, right, don't cross it, right? But the car behind me was kind of flashing his lights and beeping his horn and everything else, right? So, like a complete and utter wally, I decided to go and park across the train tracks, right? Because I thought that made the man behind me very happy, right? I know. I've said it all to myself. You're now not saying anything that I haven't already said. And anyway, as you would probably be able to work out, suddenly the bells go off on the crossing, right? And now I'm stuck, right, with my family across the train tracks. My partner's going, the hell you doing parking across there? And I said, well, he was giving me jet. I said, like, you know, back down. I said, like, it's his fault. She said, it's not his fault. You're driving. She said, like, you know, he'd have had to have just lumped it. So, anyway, through the grace of God and for the help of other people, including the man that I thought I was annoying, because when I'm queuing, I don't go right up to the boot of the car in front. I do leave a bit of a gap. Now, there's a bit of a theory. I don't know whether it's relevant, true, or whatever, but a bit of a theory. The Volvo's air breathers are quite in the engine, are quite near to the front of the engine, right? So if all that sort of exhaust dust and smoke and everything is being put out of the car in front of me, I'm thinking to myself, if I hang back a bit, the air gets a bit of a chance to sort of, thin it out and divert it. My car's not breathing it in, my car is just breathing in relatively clean air, as clean as the air can be, sort of thing, So that's my theory. So I don't always go right up to the car in front. And anyway, as I say, but between the car in front and the car behind, they did get us to safety, and the people on the other side of the road as well that very kindly moved over, and we managed to get off, and it all was well because it ended well. Still not ready. Okie dokie. Right, we got to find some jobs then. So what I'm thinking is this. Oh, what have I done now? What have I done now? Have I turned all them off? It turns out if you right click, you turn them all off. Right, there we go. Oh yes, of course, we've got that field. I think we should buy that, right. God, this is annoying having to do this. I think we should buy this. So I think we should buy all of that. And all of that. It's a few quid, but I think it'd be worth it for us. What I would like to do eventually, see, because obviously for those that watch this week in, week out, know that this series was going to come to an end, the same as the Walter series has done now. But quite a few people have sort of emailed me and sort of said, no, keep it going, grow it, like go really big, own all the land and stuff like that. All right, fair enough. It's kind of what I wanted. I wanted people to sort of reach out, and I mean, ideally, obviously, if when people do reach out, it's fantastic to receive, emails and everything like that, and it really sort of is like really fantastic. As I said before, I don't have many friends in life, not because I'm not very nice or whatever. I just seem to be a bit of a natural loner. Oh, there's a big field of potatoes. Let's have a little look here. Oh, it's been harvested. Okay, well that's a little bit too far away for now anyway, because we've got land up here that we can concentrate on, but I think we should buy that. So that's a field of potatoes, and I think we should buy that. Alright, that gives us a little bit more playable land. And then what I want to do is, I want to sell the house here, and then we can add more things into here. We've got our little bit of grapes, which will then become a lot more grapes, because eventually we will fill all of that in as well. So yeah, things not going too bad at the moment. Right, the one thing we need to do now is we need a little vehicle, don't we? Something that we can just run around in. I don't really want to use this, but it's not really doing a very important job just holding that while no one's using it. So we use this. We'll run over to the place that we've just bought, and we will start to get set up there. So the other thing I wanted to do as well is I just want to have a quick look at what's for sale. So we've got an 8S Massey Ferguson. We've got an 8-meter drill. A sprayer would be handy. Don't need a grass cutter. If I was going to future-proof the business, that would be very handy too. Very handy, and there's a reason why that would be very handy. And for anyone that watched Walter, you'll know why that will be very handy. We need a big seed drill as well. I didn't really want that one though, just because the markers don't really work properly on it. But I think we should also buy that. And then we've got another decent sized tractor that we're going to be able to utilize and do very nicely with. I was going to get rid of the little Izeki that I'm driving now, Izeki or whatever you call it. I was going to get rid of that, but I don't think I am. Just because it's a nice little tractor just to run around in, a little run-around vehicle. So we might keep hold of that. Right, 71 grand. I mean, we've got the money, that's the thing. We are going to need a sprayer, probably. We're definitely going to need a bigger drill. I guess the marker thing doesn't really matter with the fact that we now got GPS with all the lines around, does it? But I do like using the markers because I quite like drilling myself. Alright, we'll leave it there for a second because I got a feeling we're going to need another bit of kit and we're going to need another trailer. But when we start getting further afield, you know, we're going to need multiple tractors and trailers running backwards and forth from the farm to the field. The same as in the Walter series, really. You know, it's very similar to that. You know, where we needed, I think we had 3 on the go in the end, did we? Or was it? Well, I think we had 3 initially, and then we had 2 because I rented a John Deere and we pulled the veg overloader with the John Deere and just kept loading the Massey Ferguson and the Steyr that we had from you know, from where they stood in the field, sort of thing, which worked relatively well, actually, to be fair. So it did actually work quite well. But yeah, anyway, we've got a field of potatoes here that we've just purchased, so that's pretty good. I won't drive through the field because that's just not English, is it? And it is ready, actually. So we're harvesting potatoes today, boys and girls. Yep, we're harvesting potatoes today. We've got a shed there, which, yeah, it won't be there for very long. we need to. So I think this area here. Now I don't know whether using the in-game auto drive, whether they'll be able to get up here or not. That's a very good point, because what I was thinking is this could be an area where we have all the veg silos. So if I just show you very, very quickly what I mean by that. I'm sure you understand what I mean by that anyway, but, you know, I wouldn't be much of a content creator if I didn't explain my actions. So scrolling down here, just here, look. So we could have, oh, I think that's an all-in-one, whereas they're individual. Yeah, so here we could have these all set out, you know, sort of that way, or, you know, whatever way. But they will store our vegetables for us, or we could just use that, which apparently wants to float in the air. There we go. But we could just use that, and then they would come along and drive over the grid and be, you know, sort of able to tip. But yeah, so not only will we need them, but we will also need. Oh, it's not on here. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. We're also going to need that one as well, because eventually we are going to get. What's that one? Oh, this is another version of that. I've not seen this one. He says, because he's got it in his mod folder. Yeah, that might be suitable, but that one probably be okay. But yeah, so that's what I mean, and that's what we can do down here. We can set these up down here. The only other place we could set them up is on Walter's place. We need somewhere fairly flat, you see. And I know we can terrain, but the terrain editing tools, in my opinion, don't work quite as well in this game. Oh, I was hoping to go up there. I thought that was like a little drive through the country, you know. Yeah, the terrain editing tools don't work quite so well on this game as what they used to work, right? We own this now, so it's just a big empty shed, really. We don't really need that. It's just a hangar. I think I can sell it from here. I can. Yes. Thank you. And we got a little bit of money for that. We don't need that. So yeah. Anyway, we'll get these potatoes harvested. And for these potatoes, we will sell them. That's a very posh way of saying potatoes, wasn't it? We will sell them straight direct in our farm shop. And then we need to sort of kind of figure out what we're going to do for a farm shop. But we'll get the potatoes done. And then once we got the potatoes done, we will then we'll need to get on with some autumn drilling. And we're also waiting for our grapes to change as well. And we're going to need the grape harvester for that, and it's not the grape harvester that maybe you're all thinking of. We don't need a grape harvester that big and expensive for that little area there. We'll be able to do it another way. We'll get to, unfortunately, see a very sexy lady. Why people feel the necessity to dress, you know, to have a woman on the back, fair enough, right? Man or woman, like, fair enough. But all I'm saying is, right, is clearly it's guys that make these mods in terms of putting women on the back. So why they insist on putting them in bra and knickers, I have no idea. Because if they were doing a bloke, they wouldn't put him in boxer shorts or speedos, would they? Do you know what I mean? They would dress him properly, right? So is it too much to ask for people, when you're doing a mod that involves women, just dress them properly? You know, give them a little bit of dignity. Jesus. You can tell I'm getting old. You can tell I've reached my mid-40s. I'm now getting to the point where I'm saying, put some clothes on, love. Right. Oh dear. Never mind. Didn't think that day would come. Day has arrived. Right. We need to buy a potato harvester, and we don't need a massive potato harvester at this point in time. We only, oh, there it is. Something like that, or something like that. We'll do a tree. That's 190,000. That's 205,000. That holds 12,000 litres. That holds 10,000 litres. So for an extra £15,000, I can have an extra 2,000 in litres. Or I could buy that. I mean, I can afford it. But we've not used anything like that, and I've not used anything like this. So I think we should go for this, and I think we'll go Grimmy, because Grimmy is the way forward, I do believe. So we'll go Grimmy. Yeah, we'll spend that. Excellent. Buy. Now, the one thing we do need to check, 200 horsepower. So if we just quickly scroll up to tractors, come on. Is it that one we have? Nope. Oh, don't tell me it's in the little ones. If it's in the little ones, I've got no chance of it being right. It's that one, isn't it? Yeah. 136,000. So it's going to have to be either the Class or the Massey Ferguson. Or I could buy a tractor on row crops. That seems a little excessive, to be fair. Right, we will use the Class on said row crops. We'll use the Massey Ferguson to bring the harvester over, because that's obviously up the yard there. we'll put this in here, put the row crops back on, because this one did have row crops on originally, so I won't actually have to purchase row crops for this one, so we'll customize it, and then we will go for the narrow tyres. As I shouldn't have to pay for them. Nope. We will take the number plate off because I don't like number plates. And then we will go to customize. I think that's right, isn't it? Yeah. Excellent. And while we're here, we will not repair it, apparently. Oh, it's fully repaired. We can only repaint it. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So what we'll do now is get this onto said trailer. Take the trailer over to the field. Take the trailer over to the field, and then get the Massey Ferguson to take, or we'll fetch the Massey Ferguson, and then we'll take it over to that field. It's complicated, isn't it? And then we'll just swap them over, because the tractor and trailer won't need to run alongside the harvester, because the harvester's got a tank on it, if you like. I think they call it a bunker, don't they, on those Tate harvesters? It's got a bunker on it, so we won't need to be running in the field with a tractor and trailer. Now the only difference is with this field to what I would have done is they've planted the headlands, so we're either going to run off the ends of the field and just turn around on the two wide bits of area either side, just because you wouldn't plant the headlands of potatoes like this. You don't have them so that, like, normally what you would do is, if you were going to plant the headlands of potatoes, and I can only say this because I used to plant potatoes, so you'd have your headland and you'd come along and you would mark it out. So I mean, here the row actually does run quite nice, right? But so what you would do is you would say from here, so if you had a 36 meter sprayer, well, you would need to plant 18 meters out. And let's just, for argument's sake, say this is 18 meters, this row here. Well, now you need to leave at least 3 meters unplanted. And the reason for that is, and I've never known why they do this, but some tractor drivers will plant the headlands first and then plant the middle of the field. Don't ask me why, but I have seen it. But the other reason being is that obviously when the sprayer comes in, the sprayer needs somewhere to run. Now, yeah, you can run them down the rows of potatoes if you want to, but then you would have a 36 meter headland, and you don't want that really. You don't want like the end of the potatoes to be right up here somewhere. So you have them there, and then also as well you have a gap so that when you come to harvest them, again, another misconception is there's a lot of people think, like, sort of combining, you start here and work that way. Well, you don't. You start on your last two breeds on this side, the tractor then runs where you haven't planted any, and the tractor keeps moving sort of to the left back towards the edge of the field, so that it never ever runs into the rows. And that's the reason why you do it. Well, that's certainly the reasons why I used to do it anyway. There will be people out there that will have their own opinions and differences and what have you, and that's good, but that's the reason why I would do it that way. And the reason why it got explained to me, even though I sort of kind of knew anyway, but when I sort of went to be my first day of potato planting, it was on farm 2, because the first farm that I worked on didn't grow potatoes, yeah, so, and that's what they explained to me. But I already knew that anyway, because I'd been going with my uncle. So, but that's the reason why. And that's the reason why in Farming Sim, I never plant the headlands of the potatoes or any other veg, because if the field is not perfectly square, the rows look awful because it angles them, and so it looks a right mess. Yeah, I just leave a sort of usually anywhere from sort of 12 to 18 meters not planted, so that I can just turn around on the end of the field and go straight back again. Yeah. And plus as well, you've started in the middle of the field. Now, there were some fields on farm 2, and you would get instructed not to plant the headlands, so you would, they would come to me and say, want you to plant that field or those group of fields and then you'd have NH next to the field number, and that just meant no headlands. So in which case then you would leave that headland obviously clear, and it might be because it was a funny shape, it might be because, you know, whatever, like, you know, they will have their reasons why they don't want the headlands planted. So if you got like NH next to a field number, you know, don't plant the headlands. But yeah, anyway, we'll get this over there, and then we'll switch over to a little bit of time lapse, and we'll get those harvested, and we'll see where we're at thereafter. I don't know how long this is going to take with this, and I don't even know whether the GPS is going to work with this, and if the GPS doesn't work with this could take even longer, because I'm not very good at lining the two scoopers up to lift the potatoes. So we'll see what happens. We are bound to have a good laugh at my expense. I don't want to go that one. I want to go this one. I mean, we really could just put the potato thing there already, but I think we will see if it will take it to. We will see if it will take it to the farm shop, and we can get that being filled up. Right, now we swap the tractors over, and once we swap the tractors over, we can crack on with some harvesting. So as I say, I'm going to switch over to a little bit of time lapse. I don't know how full these potatoes are going to make the harvester, how quickly or whatever, so we're just going to have to wing and prayer it. But it does mean now that we can grow potatoes on our land now. We've got a harvester, we just need a planter, and we're going to need a plough. I don't like ploughing on this game, but if you're going to do potatoes, you need to do it properly. So we'll put this on here. Excellent, and then we'll leave that there, and then we will go and get the harvester, and I will switch over to my time lapse. So I'll see you in a little bit. Right, so we're back. We've done not a bad job in here, I think you'll find. Not a bad job at all. Quite a few potatoes off there as well. Don't know why they wouldn't tip into our farmers market, but there we go. Alright, I've just taken this opportunity, because obviously I've still got some in the harvester there for him to collect when he gets back. So I just thought I'd pop up here and see what we have got going on up here. And say to you in the comments, in the comment section, that's a cardboard door. You're not opening that. Give me your ideas, give me your thoughts, give me your suggestions. What should we do with this area up here? So one idea that I have had, sorry, I'm just looking around at the moment. Is this an open door? Nope. Oh, you go in this side, that's why. Oh, and that side. Yeah, so one idea that I have had, as I just sort of continue to look around here, is what I thought was this. So, this area here, just up here, we probably could put the farmer's market that's down there up here. But the only issue with that I have is the people thing, as I've said before. But I didn't know whether, as well, if we go there to factories and then sell points, whether, what does that look like? See, that looks like so we could put our own supermarket here, and then we've kind of really, we've really sort of made it big. As I say, we could put a supermarket here. Now, whether this supermarket would sell everything that we grow, I don't know. So I'm currently watching it scroll. No, it doesn't sell wine. So that would be your first issue. So then we've got this one, which is a lot more money. But I think it is a modded version of the original farmer's market. So we would put it, you know, sort of somewhere along here, or even going sort of lengthways. I'm just again looking for sort of wine. So far it's got all of the fruits and everything. It's looking possible, this one. Is it looking possible? It's going through a lot of things, but I haven't seen wine yet. It's slowing down, I think. Oh, the tension is unbearable. Is there wine? No. No, it's slowing. It's slowing. It's slowed. No wine. Yeah, so we could have had that one. I don't know what this one is. Geez, that is small. Probably outgrowing that one a little bit. Let's just have another little look here, just really quickly, to see whether a wine bottle is there. Because if a wine bottle's not there, there's no point in putting this here, because we can't sell our wine then. We can sell, actually, the wine at the one that we already have on our little farm. So the wine will sell there. No, there's no wine bottles there, is there? No. What a shame. It's the one thing it doesn't list that I really want to sell there. I mean, the only way that I would know for sure is if I plonked it down and then tried to sell a bottle of wine there. But yeah, I don't really want to do that, to be fair. But yeah, so that was kind of our options. That's the one we already have. As I say, that one is, you know, is the one we already have. That one's good, but it's okay. I mean, that one, but I don't think it's, again, I don't think it's going to sell wine. And to be fair as well, I don't also think it's going to sell all of the other stuff that we currently sell. Oh, I don't know. Do you know, it might do. Because I'm fairly certain we're on the in-game one at the moment. I'll tell you what, if that has a wine bottle there, and yet again it has everything but the wine bottle, which is really, really annoying. Ugh. So without checking, I don't know, but as I say, that is the in-game one, but the only thing with that is that you don't get the people, which is such a shame. But yeah, so we could put that there, or we could, don't know why I clicked off that, I was going to show you something else. Or we could sort of kind of make this an animal kind of petting area. So there we go. So we could put horses here, we could have a stables here, and sort of grass it up, and you know, and as I say, have a stable. You know, so if we were to put it, say, this way round, put it here. It's not going to go there now because I'm stood there, but and then spread the thing out. Or we could have the veggie thing there. So let me know some suggestions, some ideas, and some thoughts that you might be having in regards to this area, because I'd very much like to hear them, because you know, it's always good to get people's input, and it's also good to you know, to see what everyone else is thinking, and then, you know, between us we can come up with a workable solution. But right, if I just actually press that, that works far much quicker than me having to walk all the way over there. That is another handy feature of Giants, is sort of in this new game, is that if you get out of a vehicle, as long as you don't enter another vehicle but you go somewhere else on the map, and then you want to get back to the vehicle that you got out of, just press tab and it will take you straight back to the last vehicle you was in, which is really, really good. So I don't know whether he's quit or whether yeah, he's quit, so that's fine. That's not an issue, because we'll just drive him under, and then we will be able to send him off again, actually. But we'll just take these potatoes off here, and then we'll send him. He will come back here, but that's not a problem. That's not a problem, because we can come and fetch him. So I did have a quick look at a plough, because you know, I kind of sort of figured that this plough would probably need, this field rather, would probably need ploughing after potatoes, although they did come out dry, so I guess probably not hugely necessary. But yeah, right, what we're going to do is we're going to get back to the farm. We're going to fast forward a day, and then we're going to go and buy ourselves an orchard tractor and a trailer. And then what I'm going to do is, off camera, I'm going to get them to the farm, and then we're going to harvest the grapes, because they'll be ready next month. That will also then get us into October, and then we can start to get our wheat drilled, or you know, whatever we fancy sort of drilled. It will mainly be wheat for the chickens, or possibly, I mean, we could wait until the spring and do sorghum, I guess, but it doesn't matter really. As long as we now I've messed this up. I didn't realise I'd come as far as this. I should have got my clue from the beehives to know how far I'd come. I told you I get lost. I get lost on my own property. Honestly, oh dear, that's not really helped at all, has it? All right, let's try that again, shall we? Honestly. Never mind. Anyway, we'll get around there, say, and then what we'll do is, off camera, I will get the tractor and trailer, the Massey Ferguson, back here. I will put all these stuff away, but I want to get on with some other things. And then, as I say, the last job of the day will be to harvest those grapes, get the grapes into the winery and get making our wine, and then we'll go from there. So I will see you in a few minutes. Right, so I'm back, and it is now the next day. Alright, we will get our grapies harvested and get ourselves some wine. So we have to unfold the trailer. Here we go. Oh, she's not actually as bad as what... Oh no, she is. Let's have a look. Is it as bad as what I first feared? Yes, it is. Quite clever though, this young lady, because if the sun comes out and is quite hot, which it isn't at the moment, she does actually put a hat on. Because I did test the mod out before I obviously before I put it into the game, because I obviously didn't want it to cause no issues. So it does fit through, but she basically gives the old right. Let's just set a speed so that we're not going too fast, because the one thing I did learn with this mod is you don't want to be going too fast with it. And as far as I know, she should take grapes then from both sides. Yep. But yeah, so she then becomes quite happy in the middle of October in a bikini, shaking grapes and wasps out of grapevines. So good luck to her. That's what I say. Meanwhile, in my nice, secure, safe cab with my radio on, I'll just drive up and down the rows. How about that, son? But yeah, so as I say, but it's not a bad mod, to be fair. It would have been nicer if, as I said, she could be properly dressed. But there was an actual better hand grape picking mod for FS25 that I never did actually use. Well, used for myself, but didn't actually use in a save. Ooh, don't get too far away. We're not going to get, by the looks of things, a huge amount of grapes off here, which is unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. Alright. Now we can sort of back up and go back down the same row, obviously. But yeah, I just thought it was a bit different than using the grape harvester, and it's definitely considerably much cheaper, because her wages and the cost of the tractor is, I think, well, her wages are minimal, and I do mean minimal. They'll cost me like a couple of dollars or pounds, as I've got it set on, but the trailer was £2,500, I think. So like, next to nothing, to harvest potatoes, to harvest these grapes. So yeah, it's pretty good. And so then once we get them harvested, we'll take them over to our winery, and then we will tip them in there, and then we will produce lovely wine. And that factory is quite quick as well, so it won't take long before wine is being produced, and we will be able to sell said wine, which is a good thing, obviously. We probably can go just a little bit quicker. No, we can't. 3 miles an hour is correct. Actually, we can actually go a little bit quicker, because I can press that button there, and we will just slow that down because it doesn't want to go too fast. There we go. That's about perfect. I don't think I needed to swing quite so much as that, but the thought was there, wasn't it? The thought was indeed there. So yes, here we go. All right. As I say, it's not going to take too long to knock these rows out, to knock these vines out, but we'll get there. It's very questionable with the amount of grapes that we're getting off here, whether we're actually going to get a bottle of wine. I'm kind of now getting, because I tested it on a save where, well, not a save, but on a so what happens is that I record my videos, and then I sort of kind of like, right, next week, so like today obviously I'm recording farmers market, so You know, it might be like last week I was thinking, well, I'm coming up to the point where I'm going to need to harvest these grapes. I don't really want to use a grape harvester. I want to use, something a bit different. I've seen this trailer. I want to try it out. So then what I do is like, okay, so to go with the grapes, I want to try out the winery to make sure that doesn't, sort of cause me any real issues or, anything like that, So it's kind of like, all right, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll get set up on a map, any map, pick a map, any map, and memorize the map. So it's not a card trick, James. And yeah, I thought, pick a map and we'll just set up like a really big vineyard. And what we'll do is we'll put the winery down, and we will grow and try out all of the mods, and that's what I did. So I tried them all out, and as I say, because I did have a lot of vines. I mean, I think in the end I got about like 40,000 litres of grapes off them, and that was all unfertilised as well. So Lord knows what they would have been if I'd have looked after the ground properly. And yeah, so it was a really good sort of harvest, and as I say, it was really quick to produce bottles of wine as well. They weren't necessarily expensive. You didn't get like a massive price for the wine, but because you produce so many, you didn't. It's a bit like rapeseed, isn't it? You don't get a great deal of rape, but it is. You can sell it for a fortune. So it balances it out. It means you can't become a billionaire. Sort of on one field, so to speak, and it's the same with the vines, right? We'll just nip down to the winery and get this done. Ooh, slow down. She'll be fine. We'll tip her up, don't worry about that. Actually, to be fair, the empty animation on this trailer is actually quite cool, to be fair. It is actually pretty cool. Right, if I remember correctly, it's just there, yep. Now, I'll try and get in a position where I can show you where the trees won't be in the way and the mushroom greenhouse. Right, here we go. So we'll just move forwards a little bit. Oh, I think that's really cool. I mean, yeah, the front three don't go off or anything, but I still think that's quite a cool animation. It's amazing what these modders can do, Honestly, it never ceases to amaze me. Even mods that I'm not that keen on or, don't really like. Or, I mean, it's like, Oxygen David and his maps. I mean, honestly, like the level of skill involved in doing something like that is just astronomical. It's the same with Farms in Briscoe and the Vintage Oaks. I mean, like, I can't stop playing that map. Honestly, it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. The same as like Oxygen David's maps. It's quite hard to have a really good game on there, in the sense that the tractors keep colliding because it's all narrow roads and what have you, and it does make it very frustrating. But there is just something about Vintage Oaks that I just can't stop playing it, and I've now got to the point where I've thought, do you know what, actually, I'll have Courseplay driving the combine, I'll have a worker driving a tractor and trailer, I'll drive the other tractor and trailer. That way, everything will get done nice and smooth. I've figured out the headlands now with Courseplay, which is good, so I don't actually miss any on the headlands no more. And you don't get those really weird half circles and like slashes around the corners. So I've figured out that, and actually now I'm sort of doing that. Yeah, it's real. Honestly, I just can't stop playing it. It's like any opportunity I get in a day to have a quick go on Vintage Oaks, I'm there. Like I'm just doing it because it is just outstanding, that map. And as I say, like Oxygen David, the same as say Farms in Briscoe, and the many other wonderful maps and map makers, for this game, whichever version. It's just, honestly, it's mind blowing, fantastic, and we should all be so grateful. And it does annoy me a little bit when sort of people are put in a privileged position of being a tester for these people, and then decide to leak the mod, onto those sort of websites, that where lots of mods get leaked, and it does annoy me. And I think, you know, if it wasn't for these great people that do these wonderful things for our game, you know, we wouldn't really have much of a game. Let's be honest, Giants' base game and the things that they do is not going to keep us entertained for 3 years until the next one comes out, or 2 years, or whatever it is. 3 years is it, I think, now, until the next one comes out, you know. It just isn't, you know, it's just not going to keep, you know, like I say, FS22, I like the base game. Would I still be playing it? Probably not. You know, am I still playing it because of all of the wonderful things and mods and everything that people have done? Absolutely. You know, that is the only reason why I'm playing it. It is the only reason why I'm starting to look at FS25 a little bit more seriously and sort of think, actually, you know, perhaps I could have a game, perhaps I could, you know, do this or whatever. I mean, like I say, Walter's now finished. You know, I'm sort of going to have a weekend or two off, and just have a bit of a rest, because it will give me a couple of days off recording. And then, you know, when I come back to doing weekends again, you know, am I going to do FS25? I don't know. If I can find a map, I might do. You know, but otherwise, I'm going to, you know, I'm going to be doing an FS22 save. I'm going to be doing, you know, something along those lines, try something a bit different or whatever. I don't know, but you know, it's all kind of up in the air at the moment, and we'll just see where we're at when we get there. But yeah, FS25 is becoming slowly more appealing to play. You know, so we'll see what happens. But yeah. Anyway, thanks, lovely lady. We can fold her away. Oh no, that's a bad joke, James. You can't say that, son. Honestly, it worries me how quick and sharp my mind is sometimes when it comes to dodgy jokes. But no, definitely can't say that. Anyway, yeah, so we'll get these emptied, and then we'll make sure that the winery has started, and then we will we'll see where we're at. Obviously, the greenhouses have got pallets there again, because I obviously skipped a day. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it an end to this episode here. So I know we've only really done a couple of things, but they were a couple of things that obviously did need doing. When we come in next time, and again, you know, I know some people don't like it, some people do like it, but as I've said, you know, before, it is a farming channel, and sometimes I have farming to do, and unfortunately we've got all of our land to work, and what we're going to do is, I think we're going to discover it. This is what I'm thinking. I'll tell you what, we are getting a nice collection of tractors now, aren't we? Like I say, the Izeki I might keep. However, this one is going to go. So as soon as I can get another big wheeled tractor, let's have a look. I haven't had a look at the sales thing today. I don't know what to do about that drill. So there's a nice cultivator for us, actually, to be fair. That would go on the back of our Challenger, an absolute bloody treat, that would. I just need a Discara, ideally. And I mean, that's cheap as chips, really. So we'll probably be buying that in the next episode. And then, as I said, I don't know what to do about that plough. That plough, Jesus, James. How long did you work on a farm, son? That seed drill. I don't know what to do about that seed drill. I've got plough on the mind. I'll tell you what it is, actually. Is because this morning I got up and I was sitting at my computer and I was getting ready for today's recording. I was setting it up and Kerry went by on my well, it's not my Challenger anymore, it's her Vent now, because they've replaced, she was driving my Challenger, and then last year at the end, towards the end of the summer, they changed it for a Vent, and she went by with the Vent, and it was still my Lemkin, well, I think it was still my Lemkin plough anyway, but yeah, she went by and I thought, oh, today I would have been ploughing, obviously, you know, because she's literally taken my job. So she does everything that I used to do, and I sort of kind of sat here and sort of got quite sad about it, really. I thought, oh, you know, today I would have been out ploughing, I'd have loved that, you know, spinning my tractor, you know, listening to my music, you know, I would have put my Spotify on or something, or, you know, or listen to the radio or whatever. I thought, yeah, I could just, right now, I could just sit out there and do that. But, you know, the truth of the matter is I wouldn't even be able to, well, I'd climb the steps to get into the challenge and I'd be out of breath for 15 minutes. You know, and all over the place. So unfortunately, and as I say, for greasing and setting up and getting out and doing stuff and getting in again and then getting out again and then getting in again, you know, I just couldn't do it anymore, unfortunately. But let's see if this is animated. Oh, it is. Oh, it is animated. I didn't realise. So the grapes are coming out of there, going down here. It's a pity I can't actually get in there. There's an invisible wall there, look. So I can't actually get in there. And the grapes are going into there for whatever reason. So how and where does it make the wine? Odd. Odd, to say the least. Anyway, we've got 4,249 litres of grapes, and we've got 43,000 litres of water. Can we be Jesus and turn water into wine? That would be handy. That would make me a very rich man. And we'll see what we get out of it wine-wise. In theory, I guess we should get 4,000 litres of it. But anyway, as I say, I'm going to leave the episode here. Please, 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 in the comments, let me know what you want me to do with the area that we bought up there. And then we'll see what's going on. And yeah, all that's left for me to say is thanks ever so much for watching. If you've really enjoyed my content, why not hit that like button? Why not hit that subscribe button? You'll get notified of every time I drop a video, which is every day at 3 p.m. Apart from the days when I get the days muddled up and I mix up the time. As I did the other day. Luckily, that's very, very rare. But yeah, as I say, otherwise, every day at 3, you'll get a video. And also, as well, hitting that subscribe button. It's free. You know, it doesn't cost you anything, but it means the world to me. So, you know, why not do a good deed in the day and think, do you know what? That Mr. Jimmy D, I'll subscribe to him today. Thanks ever so much for watching. I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.